I challenge you to set a ridiculous goal for yourself. Set a goal that forces you to think outside of what you've always done. So, what's up? My name is Octavia the Great. I'm a hip hop artist. I just released the album. It's called Still Collecting Data. And basically, through this process of creating this project, I felt so proud of it that I didn't want to just put it on streaming. I wanted to sell it directly to people who appreciate the sound and the music that I make, and which more specifically, the genre that I am really focused on is healing rap, talking about transformation in the form of rhythm and rap. So I launched a direct to consumer campaign, and so far I've done 10 album sales, which I am very proud of because let's just be real, I didn't know what would happen. But now I'm setting a ridiculous goal for myself. And my ridiculous goal is to sell 323 albums by November 30th. And the reason why this goal is so ridiculous is because I really don't have a large fan base, or I don't know right now personally 323 people that I can call and say, hey, I created this album. Are you interested in purchasing? So I have to think outside of anything that I've done. I have to think outside of anything that I know. I had to think outside of who I know, right? So real quick commercial break. If you're an artist and you want to copy my direct to consumer campaign as I'm doing it, or you want to see all the things that I'm documenting on the back end, or about how to set this up and how I'm actually getting sales and real customers and real people to not only purchase but to listen and give me feedback for my music, follow me on Instagram. I have a monetized group where I'm sharing my behind the scenes footage of all the things that I'm doing to make this campaign a success. Back to it. So, with that being said, my rule number one in selling this album direct to consumer is do not despise small beginnings. Do not despise small beginnings. Don't be concerned if you make one sale a day or two sales a day. Like, don't look at it like you're not doing good enough if you feel like it's too small. Because first of all, if you could sell one album in the streaming era, you are in the top 10% artists right now, at least business wise. So do not despise small beginnings. And so right now, my concern is not whether I could sell an album or not. I've already sold 10, so that lets me know that I can sell an album, right? My concern is about the process and the way that I do it. How do I multiply the amount of offers that I'm making? How do I go from selling direct to people one-on-one to selling to many people at the same time? So that's the shift that we're making and that'll be the difference between selling one album a day to selling 10 albums or 100 albums. And here's the good revolutionary part about this. You did that work one time. I wrote that album one time. I recorded it one time. And I listed it online one time, right? And I can keep selling it over and over and over and over again. And I don't have to do the work over and over again every time I sell it. That's revolutionary. That's something to pay attention to. That's noteworthy. That's worth figuring out how to go from 1 to 100 to 1,000 to 1,000,000, right? So that's the process. The process is not trying to see if I can sell an album, right? I know, check mark, check that off. The process is now, how can I multiply what I'm doing how can I multiply my output without multiplying my input? Without doing more work, how can I get more out of it? So now we're stepping into setting up systems, right? And like I said, if you're an artist and you want to see the back end of all the pieces that I'm putting together and things that I'm setting up to make this work, I would highly recommend you join copy my D2C sales strategies or campaigns, so you can get this scoop on that, the inside scoop. So number one, I do not despise small beginnings. Number two, I want to know what systems do I need to set in motion to now multiply my outreach without multiplying my input or the amount of hours that I'm putting into making this happen. And I also need to, while I'm thinking about systems, for the back end and multiply my outreach, I need to also consider my overhead. So how do I, number two, multiply my outreach, and number three, make sure that I'm keeping my overhead super low. So some companies will allow you to try certain things for, you get a 30-day free trial or a 60-day free trial. That is really helpful for you to lock in and learn that system and test it, right? Especially the ones that don't put any restrictions on the free trial, and you really get to free trial it without like them constantly asking you, okay, you got to upgrade to use this feature, upgrade to use this feature. So the systems are very important when it comes to not burning yourself out, but still getting the results like you did a bunch of work. But then again, the price of those systems also matter, because as an independent artist, you probably don't start off making thousands of dollars a week, a month, or even a year sometimes. But that's okay. We're shifting, we're changing all of that. And the more that authenticity. Okay, side note, don't be worried about AI, because the more AI starts to get popular, the more people are going to seek out authenticity. So if you focus on authenticity, you're going to really thrive in the AI era. Okay, cut back to it. All right, so just a quick recap. Number one, I had do not despise small beginnings. That's very important, because that's dealing with your mindset. If you offended that you not making sales, or you only made one sale, first of all, if you're at the point where you're saying, I only made one sale, I only have 40 listeners, I only have, your mind needs to shift from lack to abundance, and very quickly, if you want to continue and have success in what you're doing. Or I would recommend you find probably something else to do, because in the creative realm, there is no lack. There is no I only have. There is no how do I get more. Everything is abundant. Everything is just, it's already abundant, but it's scalable. So you scale from abundance to more abundance. And if your mindset can't shift from seeing things from the perspective of lack, it's going to be very challenging to create abundance. So do not despise small beginnings. Number two, I had, what other systems that I need to put in place to take me from making one sale a day to 100 sales a day? How do I times 100 this through the systems? Not by doing more work and putting more effort, because when I do more work, I make 3 sales. I go from 1 to 3, or I go from 1 to 4, or 1 to 5. But the systems can help me go from 1 to 100 very fast. So that's worth stopping the direct DMs to people, one person at a time. This person, will this person buy? Will this? It's worth stopping that to figure out the system. Yes. So figuring out the systems. But while you're figuring out the systems, making sure that you can keep your overhead low. Now, if you're an artist and you also have a full-time job, you have more budget to work with, you're in a more unique position. Right? But if you're simply living off your creative budget, you want to make sure that your overhead is low, which you probably want to do that no matter how much money you make, but especially if you don't have an extra income from anywhere else, and it's just your creativity is how you're monetizing and surviving, right? Which honestly, I don't recommend in the beginning. I think it's okay to toggle between two worlds of having a 9-to-5 and also being an artist. That's just my personal opinion. It don't always work like that for everybody, but that's my opinion. Number 3, keeping your overhead low, in which I think I just kind of covered that. Yeah, I covered that. And then number 4 is generate and test. Generate and test. Generate and test. So when you're creating these systems, test it. Generate and test. Right? And keep doing that over and over again until you lock in on a system that is getting you the results that you want to get. So I know it's turned into a super long video. I genuinely hope it is helpful, because this is my exact process on how I'm going about this direct to consumer campaign. And like I said, if you're an artist and you want to see the systems that I'm setting up on the back end, come on over to Instagram, join my monetized group, and let's get it done.